Assalamu alaikum and welcome dear viewers. This is Imran Hassan and you're watching Pakistan Television News. This is the special show that we are going to do from Pakistan's Gwadar Fort. As you might have been watching in the daytime, we have done two shows in fact, and we have shown you the conference that was Asian Parliamentary Assembly conference that was held by the Senate of Pakistan and that was hosted by the Chairman Senate of Pakistan. It was actually including lots of delegates from different parts of the world, and more than 23 countries were actually participating, and the people from more than 23 countries were here who were representing their parliaments and their countries. The purpose to hold this conference was not just to have people from the different corners of the world, but to show them the potential that this particular Gwadar Fort has and the economic future that we are foreseeing in terms of the development of this beautiful and this very important place of Gwadar that is situated in Pakistan's most important province, Balochistan, and obviously the larger in terms of its area. So right now I have some foreign delegates and some very important people who are the part of this conference that you might have watched at the daytime. Right now we have decided to have a sitting with them and to have a session with them actually, and to talk about the experience that they gained from this particular session, and also to ask them that how do they see the future of Gwadar and the future of this region in terms of economic development in at this particular place called Gwadar. Let me introduce you my honorable guest with you. Right now we have Mr. Martin Chongong. He is the Secretary General Inter-Parliamentary Union. He is the first president as we came to know in the daytime selected from Africa. He has got a huge experience. We heard his speech in the daytime and that was quite inspiring as I've told, and we'd like to know from Mr. Martin then how has been his experience being here in Pakistan and being here in Gwadar in particular. Mr. Martin, thank you very much for your precious time and for joining us here. Thank you very much.
Thank you for inviting me.
Then we have Senator Pascal Alizade with us. He belongs to France. He's a French senator, and he actually is vice chair for Foreign Affairs and Defense Committee. With that, he is also a part of Organization for Security and Development in Europe. Further, we'll get to know about his profile from himself, because he is one of the most important delegates who is here in Gwadar, and he has also expressed his very positive views about this particular occasion. So we'd like to know what else he is thinking in future regarding Gwadar and Pakistan, and obviously this region's prosperity and development. Senator Pascal, thank you very much for your precious time for being here and for joining us. Then we have Colonel retired Mr. Maqbool Afridi. He belongs to Pakistan. He represents Pakistan Business Forum. He's a business person, business individual himself, and has a huge experience and knows a lot about Gwadar actually. And we'd love to know about more, obviously, about Gwadar from him. And we'll also let get to know that how he thinks about the future of this particular area and this particular deep sea port Gwadar. Colonel Afridi, thank you very much for your presence here, for your time. And then last but not the least, we have Mr. Muhammad Raza Majdi. He's PhD and Secretary General Asian Parliamentary Assembly. He has got a huge research, regarding the parliamentary affairs, and as his portfolio says, and he'll tell himself as well, that he's got the skills and expertise regarding parliament and parliamentary affairs. So we'll get to know about his experience being here in Gwadar, and obviously he's our honorary guest over here. So thank you very much, Mr. Majdi, for being here and for your precious time.
Thank you very much for inviting.
Thank you so much. So let me start first of all from you, Mr. Martin. Being a Secretary General of IPU, first of all, tell us your experience. How it's been, you were here for the first time, I think, in Pakistan, and this is one of the most discussed places throughout the world, if we talk about, and in particular, if we talk about this region. This is one of the most important ports that Pakistan has and this region has. How's your experience? How was the hospitality that you have received from our Senate people and from the people of Gwadar?
Thank you very much. I must say that this is actually third visit to Pakistan.
Okay.
I have been to Islamabad twice.
But this is your first in Gwadar?
This is the first time in outside Islamabad, and I think it's an eye-opener for me.
Right.
When I do travel around the world, I get to visit the capital cities, and they all tend to look alike. But when I leave the capital cities and go into the hinterland, then I begin to know the people of the country I'm visiting. And that is the experience I've had here in Gwadar. I've real Pakistani, and because I've come and I'm living with them. From the airport yesterday, I saw hospitality firsthand from the inhabitants of Gwadar. And today, over and above the formal proceedings of the conference, we have had the opportunity to see Gowada live and to see how sustainable development is being implemented here in Gowada. We have seen an example of where you can achieve growth but preserve the planet for the future. We've just come from planting trees here. Those trees are not for the...
So did you plant your tree?
I did plant a tree on behalf of the Interparliamentary Union, the Global Organization of Parliament.
Right.
And I think that it was a strong signal to the policymakers that you can achieve growth but also preserve the planet for the future, for future generations. And that's what we call sustainability.
Right.
It's a lesson that I'm taking home with me.
And it's the initiative of actually our Prime Minister Imran Khan, who actually wants Pakistan to be more cleaner and greener. And right now we are having this, with this initiative by Prime Minister, that we are trying to clean and, plant more plants here. Mr. Pascal, your take about this particular experience, first of all, and secondly, did it change your perception that you had before about Gowada and Balochistan when you came here?
Oh, it's my first visit in Gwadar and my third visit in Pakistan. So I'm very happy to be there and to discover Gwadar, the port, and all the city. And we are we have a very good welcome, very good hosted. And I think for the future, Gwadar will be a very important city, a very important port. And for the French, for the European, it's just incredible to look at the growth of the city. It's very interesting.
You belong to a very important country, and in other words, like a developed country, France. How you see, if we talk about economically, do you see some economic interest in future if Pakistan and France may come together and they can work on some business ventures? What are the areas that you think that Pakistan and France can work together?
Yeah, we have actually, I think, 40 big French companies who have plants in Pakistan. So it's a reality, but we must develop also that. And I tried also with your ambassador in Paris to develop investment from Pakistani company in France. And we visit some companies, for example, in daily industry.
Right. I will go to Mr. Majidi now with your permission, sir, because he's the guest and I would like to have his opinion first. Mr. Majidi, first of all, how's your experience? I've heard your speech, that was quite inspiring. And as you have the research on all these affairs, Senate of Pakistan, that is, one of the, there's the biggest house in legislation in Pakistan. First of all, how you see this initiative by Senate of Pakistan, and then secondly, what kind of impact you see on Pakistan's democratic culture in future of this particular event?
Thank you very much for invitation, and good evening to you and our sister and brothers in Pakistan. For me also, hopefully a great hope in the region in the next future. For reminding you and ladies and gentlemen in great country, Islamic Republic of Pakistan, I should remind that Pakistan, Senator of Pakistan was our president through 2 years of 2013 and 2014. So this meeting in Gwadar is another meeting presided by Pakistan. So Pakistan has a great, huge experience in parliamentary democracy, and in our organization that's new, before 12 years ago, by the initiative of Asian parliamentarian groups, we started our job in 2006, and through these 12 years, Pakistan played a major role to help different parliaments in Asia and to develop parliamentary diplomacy. As you know, in our age, parliaments play a major role in domestic and foreign affairs. and besides governmental diplomacy, as a complementary diplomacy, parliamentary diplomacy plays a major role. We adopted many resolutions, and I'm so happy that today, through my visit to Port of Gwadar and listening to the responsible of this beautiful city, they have applied many resolutions we had it. As mentioned by our colleagues, a green and clean city. I wrote in this commemoration that Gwadar is the beginning. We hope to see Pakistan and Asia cleaner and greener after a decade.
Inshallah.
So I hope that this experience in Gwadar, we will repeat it after 2 years when Pakistan will be next president of Asian Parliamentary Assembly through 2019-2020.
That's amazing. Colonel Afridi, now let me come to you. First of all, how you see this effort that is made by Center of Pakistan? You know, this is one of the biggest events that Pakistan and Gwadar has, actually, obviously. First of all, I just want to have your comment on it. And secondly, if you're being, you know, they are being visited through their skills and experience, they are being shown this particular place. Do you see it will help Pakistan to bring a more positive face of Pakistan economically and to bring more opportunities for Pakistan in all these countries these people belong to?
Imran, Gwadar is a Baluchi word, which means the door of wind. But I call it the door of prosperity wind. The day we open Gwadar for business, the prosperity will come to the country and to the region also. Secondly, you see, this is an economic era, and for that, China has launched BRI, Belt and Road Initiative.
Yeah.
We have to see it in the global perspective, then we will understand what Gwadar is. You see, then if I come, let me explain a little bit its potential. Because you see, Gwadar is a deep sea port, one. It can do transshipment of 40 million TEU, whereas Dubai is doing 14 million TEU transshipment. We can do the potential of Gwadar 40 million TEU.
Right.
So, Dubai is 9th busiest port
It's
of the
2 times
world.
bigger than Dubai.
Yes. Dubai is 9th busiest port of the world. If we can do 40 million TEU, we will become #1 busiest port of the world. So, first comes the deep sea port, so we must take advantage of that. Then our strategic location. You see, in the north we have got Central Asian Republic, having natural resources for centuries. Then our west is complete ECO, Iran and Turkey. ECO is lying. So we are connected with Europe through ECO. In the south we have got Middle East, and further south is the whole African eastern coast. And if the Middle East or the Saudi is developing oil refinery in Gwadar, so this will be a very good step. But I will say one refinery is still, I will say there should be 2 refineries, then we will be able to fulfill the requirement of the world, because we will get oil from the Central Asia, we will get oil from the Middle East, and we can get oil from the Africa, and we can provide it to China directly through the pipe.
If I'd like to seek your take on this particular event that we are,
Yes,
that
I'm
made us
coming to that.
gathered here,
Yes, yes.
APA, how you see that?
Yes, it is an excellent event, and I will recommend that every year such event should be held in Gwadar, so that the people should know. Actually, till now, the people doesn't know the potential and future prospects of Gwadar.
Right, I'll come in details. Mr. Martin, do you agree what Colonel Afridi said? For a second thing, the way Pakistan has progressed throughout the situation that we had in last 10 to 15 years, you might know, we've been facing a huge number of terrorism in Pakistan. There was this destabilized political culture we had, and then we got recovered. And now this is the 3rd consecutive government. 2 of the governments have completed their tenure, and this is the 3rd consecutive democratic political government. How you see this change in countries like Pakistan?
Well, I think that it is impressive, I would say, that you have been able to have governments succeed one another in a peaceful way. This morning I said that terrorism was a serious threat to international peace and security,
Yeah.
and it knows no borders. And so if terrorism has been a scourge here in Pakistan, the rest of the world has to display solidarity with Pakistan and help it combat this scourge. I think that it is important that Pakistan is recovering from this. And at the political level, at the democratic level, I think the dividends are obvious, that now you have governments succeeding one another peacefully. It is something that we have to encourage, but I should say that democracy is not just an end in itself.
Yeah.
It's always a work in progress. We cannot be complacent.
We can always improve.
We can always improve, and lots of things that we can do to improve upon this. The day you rest on your laurels, then democracy becomes imperiled, and that would be very dangerous for society as a whole.
True.
And I would imagine this can spill over to the other countries in the region and the world at large.
So, as you're talking about the regional peace, I think another question that ultimately immediate impact belongs to Mr. Majidi. What is your take on it? Because when we talk about this regional peace, Pakistan has been a very important player, but at the same time, Pakistan has been one of the badly affected countries, who has faced lots of terrorism, and we have lost lots of people, lots of our forces people. We had to bear lots of losses in terms of our resources. How you see this recovery, first of all, and secondly, if we talk about the regional countries, not just Pakistan, the countries of South Asia, don't you think that all of the countries should think about it, and they should be on a stand where they could work for peace and prosperity of the people rather than fighting with
today, and we will discuss tomorrow in the Standing Committee on Political Affairs and ESCAP, the future of Asian Parliament in Asia, the same question. And as you know, and our sister and brothers in Pakistan knows that Asia, especially South and West Asia, witnessed many problems, especially many difficulties, terrorism, violence. But for having peace and security in this great region through integration and cooperation, we should work on the development. And one of major resolution of APA regarding the SDG, Sustainable Development Goals, ratified by UN, working together for having a developed region and secure and making peace and keeping peace in the region. So the experience that we had in our region, South and West Asia, through some organizations like ECO, composed of 10 countries. Pioneer were Pakistan, Iran and Turkey, and right now 6 countries from Central Asia and Caucasia and Afghanistan, all are member of ECO. And like ECO, we have other economic organizations in Asia. So what we should, through parliamentarism and parliamentary diplomacy, to help governments to develop these ideas by cooperation and developing the idea of integration in Asia. As you know, we started our work in 1999 by AAPP, Asian Association of Parliamentarians for Peace.
Right.
And right now we are APA, Asian Parliamentary Assembly, and we go forward to have AP, Asian Parliament. And this process needs to consolidate our vision regarding construction of based on economy, culture, and environment, and this means that working on sustainable development.
Right. Mr. Pascal, as you're part of Defense and Foreign Affairs, you're Vice Chair, and it's a very important position in a country like yours. How you see so far the role of Pakistan's Foreign Ministry, I should say, or overall Pakistan, the way they have extended their cooperation, or they try to extend their cooperation or bilateral relations with different countries of the world. Even in the victory speech of Pakistan's newly elected Prime Minister, Mr. Imran Khan, he mentioned our immediate neighbor and what should I say, enemy country, India, that we want a cooperation with you. We want to come closer, and we should start trade rather than fighting with each other. And we should spend that money on our people that we are spending on defense equipment. How you see this approach, and how this approach plays a positive role if all of the countries internally linked, their leadership has this approach? Do you think that it can play a positive role to bring people and the countries closer?
Yes. Two things to answer. First, France is an old country, and we must be able to have relationship with all the countries in the world. So also with Pakistan, it's right.
Right.
And we have a change between the two governments, and also we have economic exchange, diplomatic exchange. It's a good thing, and I think also we have to develop that. It's a part of my job.
Right, right.
Okay, first thing.
Sure.
And it's bilateral relationship. But I think also about your question,
Yeah.
that we have to develop the multilateral relationship, and it is the job of the ASEAN parliamentary the meeting we are in Gwadar, and it's very important for me, a member of the USCEPA. The USCE, it's 57 countries in Europe and Asia, Occidental Asia. So we need to have also relationship and exchange with, for example, last month, OSCE, we have our autumn meeting in Bishkek, in Kyrgyzstan, and the subject was the relationship between Europe and Asia, and for security, against terrorism, for development of the democracy, and so on. And I think we must develop a multilateral relationship, even if some head of state want to limit this relationship.
Do you think such forums, like, sorry to cut you,
I think it's the job also
do you
of the
really
parliamentary.
think that these forums like APA, they can really play a role to bring such countries closer, or to just get rid of all such sort of hatred feelings that some of the countries have, between each other? Do you think such forums like APA can play a positive role? Because as you said that you represent your country, but ultimately all of we sitting here are Democrats. We support democracy. We want independence and expression. We want people to live peacefully and happily, and economic stability. But what do you think?
We need to know each other more and more, and best and best. It's necessary. First thing. We have also to develop exchange and to share value. I explained that this morning, and it's very important. And the value is democracy, human rights, economic development, and we have to speak about that together. And the policy, it's idea, okay, but it's also men and women who do the policy.
Yeah.
So
and there is the room to discuss upon
we
the
need
matter.
to have meeting.
You understand something?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think that it is important that we have such fora as the Asia Parliamentary Assembly and the IAPU, by the way, because we are made up of parliaments and parliamentarians who represent the people. When people speak at the United Nations, they tend to speak on behalf of the state as such. And so they have views that are expressed that do not necessarily reflect the official position of countries. And that is the value added in the type of multilateralism that is practiced within this interparliamentary fora. That parliamentarians of various walks of life can sit down. Even if their countries technically are in conflict with one another, they can sit and they can begin to
exchange their ideas.
Yes, they can
how to improve the situation.
Yes, because at the end of the day, we are dealing with people.
Yeah.
If relations between Pakistan and India improve, it is the daily lives of Indians and Pakistanis that will improve at the end of the day. So it is important that the representatives of the people be talking to each other, even if the two countries are not, the two countries are loggerheads. And that is why we have these parliamentary assemblies that exist to articulate the voice of the people through international organizations and through multilateralism.
Right. So, Afridi, how do you link economy and political stability of a country first? Second thing, if we talk about this particular region, it has a huge potential. It has huge resources. When we talk about all the countries, in particular Pakistan, how can we enhance cooperation between the countries, and how can we use such forums to bring countries closer?
You see, this is the century of Asia. So we must explore this opportunity. The main economic power which is coming up is China, and we know its potential. It is going to be economic power by 2030. So that is a model in front of us. Then of course our arch enemy India, but still we say that they are too good in business, and I must say that India should also think to join CPEC, because it will be good for India, because the people of India, they are also poor like us. So it will be a very good venture for India to join CPEC and bring economic prosperity to this region. We lack economic prosperity within this country or
okay.
the third world country.
As you being a Pakistani and being a business individual, and obviously I've seen you in Gwadar for so many times. You used to be here often. You were talking about the potential. For these my respected guests and for all the people who are watching us right now in Pakistan and abroad, how you define this particular place in terms of its potential? Because earlier we were talking about that it belongs to China and Pakistan, but yet now this particular government has said it's not just about China and Pakistan. There's a huge canvas. There are certain chapters, which are open, and any of the country can join for any kind of investment. It has that potential. I want you to elaborate a bit for the people who are watching this. What potential this particular place has in all the sectors, in particular not just in construction and in oil and all. How you elaborate it?
I must say that we should develop Gwadar as an international city, rather China city. Let's be very honest. This is our country. And
I think that's what our government already said.
Yes.
That it's not just about one country, though we have very close relationship with them and we really...
I'm very happy that we are having collaboration with the China for development of Gwadar.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I will say that we should declare it as a free port city, and all the countries, they should come and invest in Gwadar. One. As far as the potential are concerned, first of all, I told you that it's a deep sea port.
Yeah.
You see, the deep sea port has what? We can do transshipment. We can do transit trade. Russia would like to use Gwadar port. Yes, of course, we will use it. And let me tell you, China base for Kafir development will be Gwadar. And there is in China that Shenzhen in the east and Kashgar in the west. So we are developing Kashgar. So the base will be Gwadar. So you can well imagine.
Right.
Then it comes the geostrategic location of Pakistan. Honestly, we got excellent. And especially once we talk of Gwadar development and this region development.
Right.
Gwadar port, it has got a lot of potential. But once you talk of blue economy, and the blue economy is related to the development of anything related to the ocean. Till now, we have not developed 1% of the blue economy.
मेरा नाम उमर मुराद है और मैं काश्तकार हूँ। हमारे लिए तो जमीन ही सब कुछ है। आलू का फसल है, मकई है, यही जो निकलता है उसी से घर चलता है। देखें, जब आप फसल बोते हैं तो जमीन को जरखेज करने के लिए मैं डीएपी डालता हूँ, ज्यादा पैदावार के लिए मैं यूरिया का इस्तेमाल करता हूँ, कीड़े मकोड़े से बचाव के लिए जराई अद्वियात। एंग्रो ही क्यों? क्योंकि एंग्रो ने कभी भी हमें मायूस नहीं किया। मेरे लिए तो बस एंग्रो ही है।
भरोसे के 50 साल एंग्रो फर्टिलाइजर।
the sister status of different cities, and the, you know, as you have said, that we can exchange ideas, but we can come together by exchanging them, obviously. When you have ideas and we'll exchange them, obviously, then. Sir, your take on it. If we talk about the ideas, we are generating amazing ideas. If the people are watching, obviously they'll be getting some really good positive stuff from us.
Yeah, a moment ago you raised the question, you asked that question about our impressions concerning Pakistani senators.
Yeah.
I must say that I've been struck by the youthfulness of this crop of parliamentarians. People tend to think that young people are immature, they're not right for political life. But what I've seen here in Pakistan is extraordinary. So it makes the point for promoting greater inclusiveness in decision making. It means that younger and younger people should be involved in governance processes, decision making processes around the world. Just to mention, when you look at the statistics, the global parliamentary community, just 1.9% of the global parliamentary community is made up of young people under 30. And yet they represent 60% of society. That is an aberration, right? We want more women in parliament, we want more young people, so that parliament...
But in Pakistan, let me tell you, in this current our government, there are lots of new and young people who have joined parliament, and number of the people are there, the member of National Assembly, and number of people who belong to provincial assemblies. They are for the very first time in the assemblies. They have joined assemblies for the very first time, and they're the young people in this ruling party, Tehreek-e-Insaf.
So
that is a change, you can say.
I think that you're going to see the impact in the short term, and in the long term.
It will be a positive impact?
It is going to be a positive impact. When you have inclusiveness in society, if the whole of society are involved in making policy and implementing policy, of course the outcomes can only be better. So inclusiveness is one thing that we need to promote. The other one too is harnessing new technologies. Parliaments tend to be very conservative, you know, it's business as usual, the same parliamentary practice, centuries upon centuries over. Now we have new technologies that are emerging, new ways of doing business, and parliaments should be seen to be towing the line. And so I encourage parliaments, including the Pakistani parliament for that matter, to embrace the new technologies and make sure that these technologies work for the people. They should use it to transform their processes and procedures in parliament. They should be seen by the wider public as embracing these technologies, serving as examples that need to be emulated.
I think this is something, this is
inclusiveness and harnessing new technology.
Technology would really help. Let me say thank you so much to all of you, my respected guests, for being here, for your precious comments and for your precious thoughts that you have about Gwadar and Pakistan. And I hope and expect and pray that we'll see you again over here. We'll do some more, talk shows with the more better and developed Gwadar. And thank you once again for being here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dear viewers, as we have watched the program, I hope you enjoyed. My honorable guests have made some really important points, particularly when we talk about the new ideas. As Mr. Martin said, there should be some inclusivity, there should be some new technology in parliamentary procedures. With that, we have talked about the culture, we have talked about the economic foundation that we should have to develop our country in a more better way. Gwadar is the place that has lots of potential. As Colonel Afridi said, that he sees the future, the kind of a future where maybe one port would not be enough for the economic activity. May Allah prosper this region, may Allah prosper our country, and may all our parliamentarians and responsible people be a part to get people closer rather than making them apart. And we should all, I think we should work to bring people closer rather than fighting with each other, and particularly in this particular region that has lots of strength with billions of people. So we'll keep talking about it. Thank you very much for watching the show. If you really liked the show, or even if you didn't, you can give me your feedback on Twitter by searching Imranesh World. Till our next show, Allah Hafiz.